There it is. I was like clicking. I'm like clicking. I'm like, it's not going through. What's going on? Here it is. Okay. I'm here, everyone. The video didn't go black. Hello, everyone. Darkside Phil here. Welcome to the weekend preview for Sunday, September 4th, 2016. I got a lot to talk about in this weekend preview for multiple reasons. First of all, there's a big Patreon update with a situation kind of going on that I want to let everyone be aware of. If you are part of my Patreon pledgees, you're going to want to know about this stuff that's been going on. There's good news regarding Patreon, which we didn't have last week. I didn't have good news for you now. And a big week ahead of us. A big week ahead where I'm going to be pushing forward with ongoing projects. I'm going to be trying to finish up games that have been kind of being ongoing playthroughs for a while. There's going to be a lot of review activity in particular this week. There's going to be vlogging. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming up this week. A new DLC, all kinds of stuff. So it's a wide variety of stuff that you can expect from all of my channels this week, starting right now. All right? And we're going to outline that all in a moment. So let's talk a little bit about the schedule for this week, and so you know what to expect coming up. Okay, now, here's the thing. Tonight, after I finish filming this video, I'm going to upload it, obviously. Then I'm going to make a special vlog regarding, in this past week, the big controversy across the internet on YouTube. It even had a hashtag on Twitter. It was a top trending hashtag about YouTube supposedly changing their ad monetization policies on videos, and how YouTubers, big and small, have been getting notifications from YouTube that ads are being removed from their videos. Big YouTubers like Phil DeFranco and Boogie and other people have been worried that the videos that they're uploading are all going to lose their monetization and they're going to lose their way to make a living on YouTube. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a separate vlog, because the bottom line is a lot more information has come out after people looked into this over the course of the week. It's really not what it seems, and a lot of these big YouTubers who kind of panicked earlier this week really had no reason to. I'll explain all this in the vlog that I'm going to make special and also upload here to the King of Hate vlogs tonight, okay? Now, after I'm done with both of those videos, I'm going to go onto Patreon, right there, patreon.com/DarksidePhil. I'm going to go through everyone who pledged in the month of August, and if I need your information to get you your perks for that month, for example, maybe I need your thekingofhate.com forum account name and your email so I can upgrade your account so you can vote on the upcoming retro playthrough, which I'm about to talk about in just a moment. I'm very happy and pleased that we'll be doing that this month. Maybe I need your information so you can have authority to post in the upcoming Ask the King thread, because there will be an episode of Ask the King later this month. Now's the perfect time for me to throw this out there. At the very end of September, the final Thursday of September, will be a new episode of Ask the King. This is my bi-monthly Q&A show. If you want a chance to get your question answered, head over to the kingofhate.com forums right now. There's already a thread there for it, and you can post up. But patrons who pledge $20 or more in the month of August are guaranteed to get their question answered. So if you need that, check. I'll be messaging you on patreon.com tonight. And also, there's some people who qualified for private Q&A videos for me to be made, for me to make for them this month. Excuse me. So if you fall into any of those three categories, the forum upgrade so you can vote on the patrons' choice playthrough that'll happen this month, the premium Ask the King question, or private Q&A video, you're going to be getting a private message on patreon.com from me tonight. I'm going to send them all out tonight, all right? If you don't get the private message within 24 hours, because I don't know how long it actually takes for them to process, if you think I owe you a perk for this for August, and I didn't message you, and you think, man, how am I going to get my forum account upgraded, or how am I going to get this if Phil didn't message me? You got to message me personally, all right? Either message me on Patreon or email me, darksidephil@hotmail.com. Let me know the situation. The reason I'm bringing this up is because it's come to my attention that Patreon may be a little screwed up. And let me explain. 2 months ago, I adopted a new method on patreon.com by which when you pledge to my Patreon, right there, DarksidePhil page on Patreon, it's an upfront charge. So let's say you just stumbled upon my content, you really like my videos, I want to pledge $5 a month to Phil. You go to do it, it's going to charge you $5 on the spot when you pledge, and then on the first of every month moving forward, it'll charge you an additional $5, and that's your monthly pledge to be in on my Patreon, okay? Well, what I'm finding is that some people are pledging initially a larger amount and then lowering it for that monthly renewal, And Patreon isn't capturing that properly. There was a patron, I can confirm this, for the month of August, they pledged $20, okay, $20. Supposedly it went to my Patreon, I got the money, okay, it's in there, but then they lowered their pledge to $1 before the end of the month. Well, guess what? I'm looking at my stats on Patreon.com, and it says they only pledged $1, which is wrong. Their initial pledge was $20, but it seems like because they lowered it that first month, that Patreon changed it to only read $1, and I never knew that they pledged the $20. But I've talked to them and to Patreon, and they've confirmed that it went through. So if you're in a situation like that where, oh man, I really wanted to see this monthly goal happen for August, I pledged a big amount, and if you don't see me message you on Patreon.com the next day, you got to contact me so I can get on top of it, because I got to talk to them and figure out why their reporting is wrong. Okay? Has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with me. Their reporting is somehow screwed up, and we got to get it fixed. Okay? So anyway, I'll be messaging all the August patrons tonight who are owed big perks on Patreon.com. Please check your inboxes within the next 24 hours or so. All right? Good. I'm glad I got that out of the way. Now, the good news is we hit the Patreon goal for the month of August. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, we exceeded the Patreon goal for the month of August. And the reason that you can't really tell on my Patreon.com page, if you go there right now and check it out, you're like, looks like Phil's below the goal. It's because, number one, a lot of people, once their pledges went through, they immediately lowered them, okay? And so the total was above it and then dropped below it. So we did exceed the goal for August. I actually made a little bit of extra above my goal that I was aiming for that month. So thank you to everyone who pledged in August. That was awesome. It's a good way to come back, because July I didn't hit the goal. Now we're right back on track. You know, I say, well, what was the goal for August? Well, it's going to be a retro playthrough that I'm going to start this month, probably the next to last week of the month. What are the options? Well, it's either going to be Jak 3 HD, Banjo-Kazooie HD, or Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, and the patrons are going to determine what it is, because tonight I'm actually going to set up the poll on thekingofhate.com, and the patrons are, as they get upgraded and they get access to this premium forum section on the forums, they're going to be voting all month. And then around the next to last week of September, we're going to tally it up, and I'm going to let you know what won, and I'm going to start the playthrough. So there you have it. That's how it's going to go. So thank you to everyone who pledged. More information coming. If you were one of the people that pledged, check your Patreon inboxes in the next 24 hours. All right, I don't have to talk about Patreon anymore, thank God. Moving on, what can you expect this week? Well, a lot. You can expect a lot this week. Really hear the variety of stuff that I'm going to be doing this coming week, okay? First of all, tomorrow, my gameplay stream for Monday, which starts around 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time, is going to be the King of Fighters 14. It's going to probably be my final stream of the game for the foreseeable future. What I'm going to do on this stream is I'm going to try out the survival mode, the time attack mode. Those are the two single-player modes that I have not yet tried at all yet. And I do want to try some more multiplayer, primarily the party mode multiplayer, where each player gets to pick one character on each team of 3. That's kind of cool to have 6 people playing interactively. And even though the connections for me are not very good, I thought that that was actually fun when I did it last week, so I want to do one final session of that before I end up reviewing the game, alright? So, Monday stream, the King of Fighters 14, and it's the final major stream of that in the foreseeable future. Monday night, I'm going to be reviewing Attack on Titan. I just finished the game today on stream, and I even did a little bit of the additional extra content that's not required really, but it's in there, so I wanted to tell everyone about it and what it's like. And I'll be reviewing that on KO Gaming tomorrow night. So if you're interested in my final review of the game, check out KO Gaming tomorrow night. Alright, that's youtube.com/KO Gaming 1. Tuesday will be the final co-op playthrough of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombie Survival Mode. I know that's a mouthful. So it's going to be myself, Koruchado, the Arid Lord, and one other person. I'm not going to reveal who it is yet because it might be a person who hasn't done co-op with us yet, a friend of one of those two, maybe joining us. 4-player co-op, and it's going to be the final zombie survival map, the end of the zombies campaign that we've been playing all year cooperatively, alright? That's going to be, just to warn everyone, that stream on Tuesday will be a little bit later than usual. Typically, I start my streams around noon, and then the gameplay starts around 12:30. It's not. It's going to be around 1 p.m. starting because, unfortunately, some of them aren't available until a little bit later in the day, but that stream will be going an hour later than usual. So usually my stream ends around 4 p.m. Pacific. It's going to go on to about 5 p.m. Pacific time that day, okay? So, that's the meat of what I'm doing on Tuesday. Tuesday night, if I have extra time, I'm going to play some more Deus Ex Mankind Divided off stream, but I'll upload those videos to DSP Gaming afterward, alright? Wednesday, Deus Ex returns to the live stream. Now, I know it's been a long time. You know, I streamed it, 3-4 times that first week. The viewership kind of went, because people said that it was a boring playthrough. Whatever, I like the game, so I'm going to keep playing it until I beat it. It's going to return to live stream this Wednesday. Because the bottom line is the game is incredibly long. Right now, I'm on story mission 11 of 17, but I just unlocked 3 new side missions that I'm interested in doing. So I'm more than halfway through the game, but if I don't start playing it majorly in larger chunks, there's no way I'm going to finish this game before all the new releases start coming out for this month. So I have to play it in a major way. So starting Wednesday, that's going to be the gameplay stream for that day. And then Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing the review for King of Fighters 14 over on KO Gaming. So right there off the bat, 2 big high-profile reviews if you're interested. Gee, is King of Fighters 14 better than Street Fighter 5? You'll find out this week on KO Gaming. You know, is Attack on Titan a game that's only good if you're a fan of Attack on Titan, or could you just play it as its own standalone game? Is it good enough to hold water, and will I understand the story? You'll find out on KO Gaming, so check out KO Gaming frequently this week. Alrighty then. The rest of the week, the way that I want to do it is quite simple. I want to focus as much as I can on Deus Ex to try to finish it. Because my goal would be that maybe by this weekend, say if I play it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I could finish Deus Ex Mankind Divided and maybe even review it in time for the weekend. Okay? I don't know if it's viable. I don't know if it's really going to happen. That's kind of the rough goal that I have. Alright? Now, the one game that I didn't play that was new, that a lot of people wanted me to play and I held off, was Nuka-World, which is the final story-based expansion for Fallout 4. I purposely didn't play it last week because I said it's kind of the same game as Deus Ex Mankind Divided. If I were to play 2 of the same kind of open-world RPG at the same time, it's not going to fly. People are going to really get bored that it's the same kind of content doubled up on DSP Gaming. So I held off on Nuka-World. Once I finish Deus Ex, and I'm going to review it, I'm then going to start playing Nuka-World. Now, for what I'm to understand, people were like, maybe 2-3 major sessions and I could beat it. It's not a long DLC, and most people actually said there's only 5 story missions, but there are a significant amount of side missions. So it all depends on how much do you just focus on the story, or do you kind of wander off and do all the side content in it, alright? From what I'm to understand, it's nowhere near as long as the last DLC was, which is kind of disappointing, being that this is supposed to be the big final DLC for the game, and you tell me it's going to be shorter than the other one. That's kind of lame. But anyway, I digress. I want to do that after I finish Deus Ex. So, whenever it does complete Deus Ex, you can see me start to play Fallout 4, alright? And then, the one elephant in the room is Scarface, the playthrough that I was doing throughout the month of August, right? And it went on hiatus when all the new releases started coming out. And the bottom line is, whether or not I get back to Scarface is directly dependent on how long it takes me to finish up the current playthroughs that I'm doing. Alright? If it's quick, if I get through it quickly, and I finish Nuka-World by the end of this weekend, then yeah, then I'll do a stream or 2 of Scarface before next week's new releases. But if I don't, I don't. Quite honestly, Scarface is like the last thing that I'm thinking of right now with all the new releases and stuff that I'm juggling. I have no, intentions of juggling everything and oh, I gotta do Scarface before a new release. No, it's like the least priority that I have right now. All right, being quite honest with you. So it might happen, it might not. It all depends on how things go this week, okay? Now, next week, not this week coming up, the week after, is a huge week. Just to give you some perspective here. Recore, the action platformer that we've seen 2 years now at E3, looks really good. It's an Xbox One and PC exclusive, I believe. I'm going to be playing that. Both the BioShock and Dead Rising remastered collections released that week. Okay? Now, I'm interested in playing both of a full playthrough of BioShock the original and Dead Rising. BioShock the original I did play for YouTube previously, but it wasn't a great playthrough. It was a playthrough that I was rushing through. It was a playthrough that I was still using my camera before I even went direct capture. It looked like crap. Half the playthrough I was drinking, and I wasn't even doing good commentary because I was drinking through it. And quite honestly, it's a game that I want to play again. I love the original BioShock. I played it twice myself before I ever played it for YouTube. And now I want to do it kind of again, but give it a fair try, legitimate shake, and pay attention to it and everything, and do a good, legitimate playthrough of it, alright? But Dead Rising 1, I never played for YouTube. Dead Rising 1, I bought as one of those greatest hits, like $20 discounted version for the Xbox 360, and I didn't like it. I hated it because the controls were awkward in my opinion, and the boss fights were really wonky and unrealistic. But keep in mind, that was an era before I ever did anything for YouTube, an era before I played every single game out there, before I played Dead Rising 2 and both of its expansions and Dead Rising 3, before I played those games, right? So I wasn't accustomed to the Dead Rising formula. Maybe if I go back to Dead Rising 1 now, I'll understand it better and I'll do better. Who knows, right? So those 3 games all come out that central week of September. I'll be juggling playthroughs of those that central week of September. And what I'll probably do is to do a poll amongst my viewers. Would you rather see me do Dead Rising or BioShock first? Which is the priority for you? And then I'll be balancing Recore and whatever one won the poll that week until one finishes, and then I'll start playing the other one that I didn't finish. And then in later September, we'll begin that retro playthrough that I mentioned from Patreon when that poll goes through. And then, depending on how everything goes, all right, the end of September, I may or may not check out a few different games like XCOM 2, or there's a Forza game coming out, and there's also a Sonic game coming out. I may or may not play all of those depending on how the month goes with those other games that I want to play first, okay? So the fate of the end of the month is kind of in the hands of what happens with the patrons voting and how those other playthroughs go. So we'll see, all right? So you have kind of a rough idea of what the entire month. Now next week, I'll have a better option. I'll have a better idea of how far I got in all the games, and I'll let you know status and all that later next week, okay? So that's what you can expect pretty much this week coming up. A lot. Let's recap again. Conclusion of King of Fighters 14 in the review. The final Black Ops 3 Zombies DLC co-op. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and eventually review when I finish it. The review for Attack on Titan, right? A lot of stuff, a lot of reviews coming up, which is good. A vlog tonight, right here, about this YouTube ad revenue changes and stuff that's been happening that everyone's wanted me to talk about. And also later in the week, Nuka-World in Fallout 4, and the possibility of the return of Scarface all this week. Oh yeah, and if you didn't see it yet, you gotta check it out, man. The DSP Tries It that I put out yesterday. It's a 2-parter featuring these meals from this line of meals called Devour. I did one yesterday, I'm doing one next week. You gotta see yesterday's to compare it to next week's. You'll see what I mean. Definitely check out DSP Tries It from yesterday if you haven't yet. It's a really good one, okay? That's pretty much it. I don't want to go too super long or at length here. I just want to cover things as quickly as I can. Thank you to the August patrons who let me finally get back on track. I really appreciate that. I hope that you'll check out all the stuff I'm doing this month. I'm trying to come back from the slowness of the summer. This happens every summer where not a lot of people are around because there's not a lot of releases. Now finally we're getting releases people are interested in again. So hopefully you'll start to come back for all these releases. So we can get into the groove of things, right? This hardcore gaming season is about to kick off big time in October, and I want to get people accustomed to coming back and watching this stuff, and, you know, not that, oh, Phil's not playing, you know, some giant overhyped AAA release. I ignore him for 5 months until finally someone tells me to go back. I hope people start getting wind and coming back. You know what I mean? All right, that's it. Thanks, and without further ado, special thanks to the following August patrons who made this upcoming retro playthrough possible. I appreciate your pledges. It allows me to keep doing this full-time as a job, and it really is well appreciated. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for all new content. Later tonight for a new vlog. Tons of stuff this week. See you then. Peace out.